Good morning, scholars. We're going to continue to work on our lap book. You can hear I have Loki the Joker playing in the background just because I like to hear my Viking music. So, got my cover done. Hopefully you've got yours done. Remember, here's my cover on my cereal box. Here's the inside. Here's my one that I've already finished. And I'm going to continue to work on this flip book that's going to go in our lap book. Yesterday you were to print out the pages. If you couldn't do that, remember, I'm going to say it's okay for you to draw them. The title says the Vikings are known for their, just a picture of a Viking. The first page was shipbuilding, so draw a ship on your page and get that one ready to go. Or if you're doing it in your folder, in your notebook, you could just make a T-chart, have one side be the title, the next side be the shipbuilding. You decide, you do whatever's available for you to do, but you need to get the information written down. All right? So today we're going to turn and look at the fighting and the sailing. So I'm going to move this over. Thought I had lost my paper I cut out yesterday, but I found it, thankfully, so I'm not going to cut out the rest yet. Here is my fighting and my shipbuilding. Now today we're going to add what we need to write there. So let's get a little closer so you can see what I'm going to write, and I'm going to focus on the fighting first. Alright, so at the bottom, that's where I'm going to put the title. This page is fighting. I'm going to put F. This is that I-G-H-T. Fighting. Fighting. Did my shipbuilding yesterday. Now I'm going to do my fighting today. So up here, I'm going to start. Be very careful. Not write too big, so I have room. Vikings, begin with the uppercase V. I-K-I-N-G-S, more than one. Vikings used the element of surprise. Now, this is a tiny spot. I'm trying my best to write nice and neat. All my letters starting at the top so that I have more control over my pen or my pencil. Vikings use the element of surprise against their enemy. Period. Now, I'm just going to write a couple of the weapons they used. I'm not going to put it in a sentence. It's going to be like a list, but it's going to go across. So I'm just going to put spears, comma, crossbows, comma, swords, which is weird, it's a swa, silent W, swords, and I'm going to make my little and sign, and shields. So there's a little bit of their information on their weapons. Let's look at that. Fighting at the bottom, Vikings, uppercase V. Vikings use the element of surprise against their enemy. Spears, crossbows, swords, and shields. Those were some of the weapons. And if you want to, you could write here, make a little heading for our list. Or if you're writing on paper or in your notebook, you can take 1 page for each one of these. However you've decided is what works for you. All right, so I'm going to read this one more time, and if you need to, pause the video so you can write this down. Vikings use the element of surprise against their enemy. Weapons: spears, crossbows, swords, and shields. This is on the page with the heading Fighting, even though the heading is at the bottom. I'm going to go on and fill out this next one too, which is sailing. They were great sailors, could go across the oceans, storms. They knew how to find their way. People aren't really sure if they knew just from the currents. They had written down the currents at different times of year. We're not really sure how they were sailing, but we do know they probably used the stars at night to help themselves sail at night and to keep from getting lost. But even then, some ships did get lost and destroyed in storms at sea. So, bottom, sailing. Can begin with an uppercase S. A-I, A-I, A-I in the middle. Sailing. I-N-G, suffix I-N-G. Sailing. Up here, going up to the top of my space. Vikings. So again, uppercase V, I-N-G-S, because it's more than one. Vikings were great sailors comma, because babies eat carrots and usually something else. Because Vikings were great sailors because they understood the weather. Now don't go outside of your lines. You're going to be cutting those out. I guess if you do, you could cut around them, but try to stay in that line. Vikings were great sailors because they understood the weather and they spent a lot. It's 2 words. A lot of people write that as 1 word. A lot is 2 words. Spent a lot of time at sea. Period. All right, let's take a look. Sailing is your heading. Vikings were great sailors because they understood the weather and they spent a lot of time at sea. If you have to, pause the video and get the writing done. It's the most important part of this little flip book that we're going to put inside of our lap book. So make sure that you have all the writing done. Today we focused on the fighting and the sailing part. Make sure you've colored, make it look nice, be proud of your work. Yesterday we did the shipbuilding. If you have to go back, that video's out there still too. Pause it, copy, get the book all written down. And then you can cut out all the pieces and put it together. When you lay them on top of each other, you'll notice that they are a little bit different in length, so they will stagger on top of each other. And then you just staple them at the top. And glue it down into your lap book. Position it where you want it to go. If you're doing it on a file folder, or like in my serial folder, I'm going to make it all the way about a finger's width away from the edge, so that I'll have room to put them all in the book. I don't want to slap it down in the middle because then I might not have space to put all of my writing. So the sailing is the longest, so it's going to go on the bottom. And then I lay my fighting on top of it. I make the top even, and then you can see it's shipbuilding, fighting, sailing at the bottom. And I'll cut out my title page, my cover. Lay this one on top. Right there. Make sure the tops, I'm going to turn it upside down. Get them all lined up. And there's our first flip book that we're going to put in our lap book. Here's the cover. The Vikings were known for their shipbuilding, flip it, fighting, flip it, sailing. And there's my book all done. And here's what it looks like in my completed lap book. Vikings were known for, see I've got the staples at the top, shipbuilding, fighting, sailing. Remember, go back, pause the video where you need to make sure that you have the right information. Till next time, go out, do great things.